Liam! How are you, brother?
Good. So we are here at the Edinburgh Harmonica Workshop 2019, where we've been teaching. I've grabbed the great man himself for a bit of a chat. I'm kind of interested how the whole YouTube thing started for you. You know, what made you start kind of sharing?
Yeah, it's a funny story. In 2006, it was June, and I was not totally green to harmonica playing, but I was still, you know, working my way up and figuring things out. And my family at the time, they had requested a sample of my playing.
Mm.
Now I said, I don't know how I'm going to get it to you. Email, you couldn't email videos, and it was harder to do stuff like that. So my girlfriend's sister at the time said, have you heard of YouTube? YouTube was a year old. And I said, YouTube, what's YouTube? And she said, well, you can get your video up there. You can put it up, and then you can send them a link and they can see it. So that started by me wanting to share with family. In the process of sharing it, it got a lot of attention because no one had been sharing harmonica content. Mm-hmm. Nobody. Adam didn't start sharing until 2007. Mm-hmm. And I realized, wow, there's so much interest. My video got featured, like the second or third video, and then one more got featured. At that time, they were doing a featured thing. Not sure if they still do that. So that got me some subscribers and attention, and I realized, wow, there's an interest in a niche and a little bit of a need, a market for some instruction. So that is how it started to grow from there.
I didn't know that you were posting before Adam. That's kind of...
I was the first guy. I didn't know until Adam told me this. We were at an event one time, and he goes, "Did you know you were the first?" And I said, "I was." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Because before I started in 2007, I did a search, and all I could find was some guy with a harmonica." He said, "This is how Adam imitated it." He goes, "There was a guy that was like, you know, terrible. Just going. There was one person doing that. There was an old Sonny Boy clip, and then there was you. Somebody and no one else had been sharing anything. I couldn't find any relevant content whatsoever. So I didn't know that either."
Can you remember what you played in the first ever video?
Something just like that.
Yeah.
I was just playing a little swing, walk and shuffle line. And
yeah. Is that video still up?
It is.
Still out there. Mm.
Yeah. It's called Harmonica Improv.
Harmonica Improv.
I think
What's it up?
Yeah, Harmonica Improv.
Check it out.
Yeah.
The teaching side of things, I mean, were you teaching people one-on-one as well, or was this just a YouTube thing?
Well, what happened, I think the progression was, with all the interest and questions in the comments, I began then posting some informative videos shortly after, instructional style videos, and I got inundated. I couldn't respond to the amount of emails coming in, so it dawned on me that I might want to begin a website. And the birth of harmonica123.com was from out of a need to take care of not being able to answer all these questions. Okay. And my first products were these CDs that I had like burned. Yeah. You know, back then we didn't have digital content, it wasn't as relevant. Mm. So I had these CDs that I was hawking that had like my blues riffs on them. Okay. So that's kind of the beginning stages, and it grew. The lessons, the private lessons came pretty shortly after that. Skype was around, I want to say, right around that time, or a little after, probably for sure. And while the technology wasn't great, I was able to do some phone sessions and a little bit of video work. So I did kind of jump in. I had already been teaching a little bit of harmonica, you know, just face-to-face stuff, but now it's pretty much all online.
Yeah. And now you're involved with Hohner, you endorse their stuff, and you kind of go to events with them as well.
Yeah, I work closely with Hohner as I'm on their artist roster, so I'm endorsed by them, but I do a lot of clinic work for them. I am their they call me their clinician.
Yeah.
But that involves both teaching events that they want to host, product training for their sales staff and other companies that are selling their products around, the US, I'll go out and train. So I'm doing a lot of cool in between. Sweetwater is a huge facility in Indiana, the largest online retailer of music equipment. I mean, we're talking huge company.
Yeah.
So top notch, state of the art. So I'll go out there and do training sessions for their staff and TED Talk style things with a headset. It's fun. So Hohner's been a really wonderful company to work with. Great experience.
And do you play out of the box harps or custom harps? Or?
Pretty much all out of the box. I'm playing those Hohner crossovers, Marine Band Deluxe, and I really like the Special 20s, especially for the higher keys, because they've got no, it's covered, they've got side vents that are not open, they're covered, is what I'm trying to say, closed side vents. So it allows you to mute those kind of high keys a little bit, and I really like their harps. I'm playing kind of a mix of those three.
Yeah. What did you have there? Was that a crossover? Or?
That was a crossover, yeah. And the Marine Band Deluxe is the same construction, but it's pearwood.
Yeah.
But it's got a slightly different tuning. The chords are a little fuller. I like them both a lot.
Yeah. Good harps.
Yeah, they really are.
Have you experimented with the custom harps then and just found you don't need them?
Pretty much. Yeah. I think that I appreciate them, and I've got some nice customs that I've collected or have been gifted to me over the years. And I do play them. It's not that I don't, but when I look at my gig bag, I don't tend to bring them out. As I think we were talking about this, like, I kind of want to protect them. It's like, what are we doing? But we save them for maybe some studio work, or it's like I don't need them to do what I'm doing. The out-of-the-box harps today that I'm getting, and I promise you, they're not tweaking my harps. I don't want them to. They play they're set up just right for me.
Yeah. They don't take them off into a secret Ronnie Shellist room.
Nope.
Like.
They will do that if I were to ask, and they'll work with some of the endorsees to do stuff, but to tweak if you want some changes. But really, I find that they're good for what I do. I'm not a big overblower, so I don't need these special setups. I just look for a harmonica that's airtight.
Yeah.
If it's airtight and in tune, we're good to go.
Yeah. One of the things I love meeting other harmonica players, meeting other musicians, is when someone gets really excited about one song or one lick or something new they've heard. So what kind of excites you when you're listening to music? What gets you going? Yeah, that's the shit.
I think from a harmonica perspective, or from just music in general.
However you want to answer it.
I guess what catches my attention with any kind of player, I think I'm attached to the tonal aspects of the depth of an ability for a musician to create new tone that's new to me, or I hear the way in which they're using that tone mixed with dynamic range, and I think phrasing is the final thing where it makes me go, wow, this is going to be really cool to study, because they're doing something that is unique to them. They're kind of following their style. I think that's why so many people follow all the greats. If you look at Little Walter and Paul DeLay and all these cats, they had their own flavor. So I'm listening for people that are not just regurgitating the stock riffs, guys that are learning how to use microtones well and kind of move in and out of the scale notes more, because we need those notes. They bring life to the rest of the riffs.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So not just being riff based, like
we get caught learning some generic riffs, and then maybe we don't learn how to rip them apart and make them our own.
Yeah.
Explore some syncopation or different phrasing that you can inject into the idea, so that it's real for you, so that when you play it, you can play it with emotion.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like when you play a stock riff, if it's not yours, how do you inject all that emotion? You've got to kind of make it yours somehow.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, sure. Did you play any other instruments before the harp?
Barely.
Barely.
I was introduced to the guitar when I was in middle school. I'll make this brief, but I took guitar lessons when I was probably, I'm going to guess, 14 or something like this. And I was dropped off every week, and it was torturous, man. It was torturous. I showed up to my guitar teacher's class, and he had two poodles that had painted nails, And just to paint a little bit of a picture there, anyway, he would show me things that didn't inspire me. He never asked me what I wanted to play. And after a while, I said, "Can we stop doing this, Mom? Can we stop doing it?" And she said, "I didn't know you weren't enjoying it." And I said, "It was fun for a second, but..." So that was my musical experience. It wasn't good. I learned a little bit, but in my own time, I was able to learn 1 or 2 little songs. And I remember thinking early on, this is so much fun. I was thrilled by being able to play Malagueña, I think, and a couple other simple songs. And that thrill never left me. I just didn't pursue the guitar. And then when I left college, when I entered college, I'm in a blues area like Austin, Texas. And so in that scene, I was exposed to Gary Primich, Walter T. Higgs, Guy Forsythe. I met Michael Rubin, J.P. Allen. These cats all lived in Austin.
Okay.
Michael Rubin and J.P. are harmonica players, and they were teachers. So I took a couple lessons and learned how to get technique, and then self-taught from there. It's kind of like I just needed that inspiration of the blues to say, what do you want to do with it? Well, now I know it's the blues. I was playing Oh Susanna for months until I realized, there's more to this.
Yeah. I thought JP was like Hawaii or somewhere.
He is. He's been there for a while, but he lived in Austin.
Oh, okay.
Before that, for many years. That's where he was based out of. One of my all-time best friends, his sister was married to JP, and so that's how we connected.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, "I'm trying to learn. Will you teach me?" And he taught me. I learned proper breathing techniques from JP. He taught me other things, but that was the takeaway from those lessons.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then he said, "You need to go to Michael Rubin for some blues stuff, because he's kind of a little more adept to that style." And Michael taught me how to bend it out.
Did you get to know Gary Primich? And I like Gary.
I did. I didn't know him well, but I did get to go to his shows and talk to him in between. He was a really friendly guy, and probably one of the biggest inspirations for me.
Yeah.
And Guy Forsythe, who you may not know, but please look up Guy Forsythe, who is a great harmonica player, and he's the reason why I think I actually decided to go for it. Because I would go listen to this guy play live, and he would burn it up. I remember the first time I heard amplified blues harmonica was Guy Forsythe, and I had never heard it played amplified. So do you remember your first time?
Yeah.
I was like this. Everything melted away.
Yeah.
And I was like, I gotta figure this out. Yeah. And then the manic chase was on.
Yeah. First for me it wasn't in person, it was on record. I had lessons. My teacher gave me the CD of Extra Napkins, James Harp.
Yeah, I love that CD.
Yeah. That was the first amplified harp I ever heard, and it was like, fuck, what is this? You know? I just, well, you know what it's like, you've never heard anything like it before, and I went, oh, that's it.
It's pretty much like rediscovering the instrument from everything you had heard prior played acoustically, because of such the depth that you can gain in the tonality department and the shaping, the color you can create amplified.
Yeah.
It's just different, it's a different ballgame.
And do you still listen to a lot of harp players and take inspiration? Are you still kind of learning songs or people's stuff?
Yeah, these days, listening-wise, I'm listening to, and I have been for years, much more jazz than blues, only because I spent so many years just spinning those records forever, and I still listen to plenty of blues, don't get me wrong, but I listen to more jazz when I'm in my car, and when I'm working with students in between, I'm turning on jazz, but I've rediscovered a love for, I shouldn't say rediscovered, in a way it's a rediscovery of the instrument, because I've been playing for about 23 or 4 years now, and I've discovered that I have a very serious passion for learning some more jazz melodies on the diatonic, which we talked about a little bit when we were hanging out the other day, I think we did.
Yeah.
And it's like so much fun being able to just learn a nice melody that takes you out of the first, second, and third position, which I've been living in, and realize I can do some of these with no overblowing. And the guy who I would encourage anybody watching that follows you, check out Philip Yers. Do you know Philip Yers?
I don't. How do you spell his surname?
It is I want to say it's Y-E-R-S.
Okay, Philip Yers. Okay.
A Swedish fella.
Yeah.
Very accomplished chromatic and diatonic player, but what he does well that spoke to me was he was taking these jazz melodies and playing them with no overblows or overdraws on a diatonic and doing it beautifully. And I remember the first one I heard was Black Orpheus, and it was like starting over. I went, I want that. I want that. I love that song. And I've always couldn't have ever imagined that I'd be able to play it. It seems very complex.
Yeah.
But there it was. So I think in my next stages I'll be exploring that further, you know?
Cool. Are you going to gig that stuff, do you think? Or is it just enjoyment at home?
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's about finding the right guys, and that's the challenge is, you know, why do it if you can't do it right?
Yeah.
You can't piece together, you know, it's got to have the right guys. So if I can find the right fellas down the road and at least do that to a small degree, I'd love to have a repertoire of all instrumentals, you know, where we don't sing, it's just an instrumental, you know, situation.
Yeah. Ronnie, thank you for sitting down with me.
Pleasure.
Safe travels back to the US.
It's been good getting to know you over the last few days, and I hope we get to do it again.
I hope so.
Thanks.